Today on Playbook 360, I'm paragliding with American record holder and World Cup champion Nick Grease. Did one day you just decide to pick up a paraglider and just send it?
I was working in New York City and I decided that I didn't want the rat race to be that much part of my life. Got into paragliding just before I got the job in New York and decided that this is what I was gonna do. Quit that job in New York and moved out west, and I've been flying ever since.
So how's it been on the fringe, as they say?
For me, it was an incredible life change and a really cool path for me to take to create a living and also have just incredible adventures all over the world. We do this because we love being in the mountains. We love flying. A lot of us have dreamed of flying our whole lives.
Do you ever take yourself back to the first time?
Yeah, absolutely. Today actually reminded me of it. It's like a lot of times the first flights are the best. So now I have more than 5,000, 6,000, I don't even know, flights. But when I think back to when I was beginning, that's the best time in my whole career. Everything was so exciting, and it was, you're leaving the ground, you're flying.
Out of all the trophies that you have, what's your favorite?
The U.S. national title that I got 2 years ago, I worked 15 years to get. It was a grueling competition, 7 days long, and it's one of those things, and I'm sure you have a similar experience where you know that you did this event in a way that nobody can take that from you. And it was really special, and I got lucky, and in the end, I was able to win.
So I'm thinking to myself, paragliding had to evolve from somewhere. Give me some of the history of it all.
Yeah, paragliding and hang gliding both come basically from NASA. When Sputnik started beeping in space, this whole movement in the US started moving around to try to get some kind of space vehicle that could go up and then, more importantly, re-enter the environment. And so Francis Regallo, he and his wife sewed these curtains into a Delta planform that they modeled as a space re-entry platform. They see this project and they're like, well, what else can we do with this Delta shape? And so they put it on a Jeep. It was called the Flying Jeep, the Fleet. They're like sending this thing out of an airplane. And then basically, people read about this in Popular Science. And these guys in California were like, well, if they can do it with a Jeep, why can't we do that with ourselves? So they started making their own out of bamboo and duct tape, and that's how hang gliding started. And so that was early 1970. So for the 40 years, people have been refining, and there's been a tremendous amount of risk, obviously, back in the day. When you're pioneering any kind of aviation, like the Wright brothers or any kind of aviation, there's a lot of danger. But the place we're at now, 40 years later, I feel really lucky. I got into the sport 15 years ago. I feel tremendously lucky that the gear has been refined to a point that it's relatively safe.
We went around a couple different times. It's not like you just went all the way straight to the bottom. People actually stayed within this airflow. So how does that work?
So the wing is always sinking because we don't have an engine. So it's sinking 400 feet per minute. And then basically in all these environments, when there's heat and when there's wind, basically there's air that's moving upward. So if you see a bird flying and it's circling, it's not flapping its wing, that's kind of what we get into. Those are like virtual gas stations for us. That column of hot air is moving up, and that's moving up at, say, 600, sometimes to 2,000 feet per minute. And so you subtract what we're sinking at, and that's the rate at which you will climb. We can go anywhere from 100 feet off the ground to 10,000 feet off the ground.
What were some of the favorite places that you've ever been? I mean, you've been to 30 different countries.
I got to go to Iran and fly as the first paraglider, American paraglider, to go to Iran. And I went basically for 2 weeks on a road trip with another pilot and get to experience people as people. And that's one of the great things I think that paragliding does. It shows you all over the world, people are people, and allows you to really just experience that community. It was pretty special. And I do have a little film that will be coming out about it.
So if you're landing in one of these places, all of a sudden you have to stay overnight. What do you do?
There's also a whole subset of this sport called bivy flying, and that's a really special thing that's getting more and more popular. We bring a tent with us, and we bring a sleeping bag and food and all your water, and we fly and we land, and then we take off again the next day and we go from mountain to mountain. And people have flown the whole length of the Himalaya like that. We've flown the length of the Sierra like that. It's been some really cool stuff you can do.
I love meeting people such as yourself because I get to experience something that I've never been able to do before. I mean, how can people learn how to do this?
Go to the U.S. Hang Gliding Paragliding Association webpage, and on there's a list of instructors in people's areas. It could be anywhere from like 10 to 100 days of instructing. They take care of you, and basically you create a relationship with this instructor. And gear is about $3,000 to $5,000, and that's for great gear that will last you for, about 6 to 10 years. And at that point, to come here, it cost me, I think, $25 a year to fly. So there's no, fees like that. So it's the cheapest form of aviation. There's also an amazing community that you get to be a part of. As you and I were kind of participating together, you come down and high five. You and your buddies come out here, have a great day, and then, go on to your next thing.
It's been an incredible day paragliding with World Cup champion Nick Grease, and one of the things that I love about what you do is that you're not only just like paragliding for yourself, you also do a lot of this for charity as well.
Yeah, the U.S. Hang Gliding Paragliding Association has a philanthropic arm called the Cloud-Based Foundation, and that basically was started by a group of pilots, but these group of pilots wanted to have deeper, longer-lasting connections. So we have programs in Nepal, in Ecuador, in Haiti, in Texas, in Tennessee.
Seems like I need to do a little bit more. But first, I gotta go get my own paraglider. That's it for us at Playbook 360. Johnny Jones, I'm out.